For decades, maybe you've told yourself it's just too late to heal from that old wound, that the pain you carried for 30, 40, or even 50 years is just a part of you now. It's like a splinter buried so deep, you've learned to live with the ache. We are always told that time heals all wounds, but so many of us know that just isn't true, don't we? The memories, the feelings, they can stick around, popping up when we least expect them, especially when life gets a little quieter and retirement. But what if the peace you're looking for isn't about forgetting the past, but seeing it in a completely new light? What if your golden years could become your greatest season of healing? We're going to explore how a few simple shifts in your thinking, paired with a steady faith, can help you finally set that heavy burden down, because it is never, ever too late to heal. I once knew a man named Arthur for almost 50 years. He carried the heavy weight of falling out with his brother. It was a silent wound that never quite closed. He built a good life. Don't get me wrong. He raised a family, had a great career, but that unresolved anger was like a constant low grade fever. To others, he just seemed quiet and reserved, but on the inside, he was constantly braced for more hurt. He grew up in a generation that didn't talk about emotions, so most of it just stayed buried. Then he retired, and the quiet moments started getting louder. With the distractions of work gone, the silence was filled with regret. He truly believed the window for fixing things had closed long ago. But with a simple nudge from his wife, he started a quiet journey. He wasn't about confrontation, it was about inner healing. He began to look at his own pain, not as a life sentence, but as a story that was still waiting for its final chapter. He didn't magically forget the hurt. Instead, he learned to see the situation and himself with compassion. What happened for Arthur is possible for you too. It starts not by changing the past, but by changing your relationship with it. The journey Arthur took is open to every single one of us, no matter our age. Real peace is possible when we combine simple, powerful truths from psychology with the strength of our faith. Some people think faith and psychology are enemies, but I see them as powerful allies in your healing. Think of it like this: to fly, a bird needs two wings. Faith is one wing, giving you the foundation of hope and purpose. Psychology is the other wing, giving you the practical, hands on tools to understand your own mind. Together, they allow you to soar. So today, we're going to walk through 5 steps to get you started. These aren't complicated theories, they are gentle, practical actions you can begin right now to finally find the peace you deserve. All right, this first step might sound a little strange, but stick with me. It's incredibly powerful. It's time to acknowledge your inner child. Think of it this way: a younger version of you is still along for the ride in your life, like a quiet passenger in the back seat. This is the one who first felt that deep wound, and they've been carrying the memory of it this whole time. That child might have felt unheard, unsafe, or unloved, and those feelings don't just vanish. They get packed away like a heavy luggage in the trunk, shaping our adult fears and reactions without us even realizing it. For more, for many of us over 60, these wounds happen when kids were just expected to, tough it out. Our feelings were often dismissed. Does that sound familiar? As an adult, that old pattern might look like a fear of being a burden, a hard time asking for help, or this nagging feeling of just not being good enough. So, this work is about turning towards that younger self with a compassion you might not have gotten back then. It can be as simple as taking a quiet moment. You can journal, write a letter to your younger self, or just close your eyes and say silently or out loud, I see you. I know that was hard, and you did the best you could. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about finally giving yourself the validation you've always needed. It's the first step in letting that wounded part of you know that it is finally safe and finally seen. Have you ever noticed how a certain memory can make your heart race or your stomach clench as if it's all happening again right now? That is because trauma doesn't just live in our minds, it also lives in our bodies. For decades, your nervous system might have been stuck on high alert. Think of it like a faulty smoke alarm that goes off every time you make a toast. There's no fire, but the alarm is shrinking anyway. It's exhausting, and it can lead to anxiety, poor sleep, and even physical pain. So, healing has to be a physical act too. We have to be gently teaching our bodies that they are safe in this present moment. The most powerful tool you own for this is your breath. Here's a simple technique. Breathe in gently through your nose for a count of 4, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 or 8. That longer exhale is the reset button for your body's alarm system. It sends a direct signal to your brain that the danger is over. Another simple thing you can do right now is place a hand over your heart. Just feel the gentle pressure and warmth. It's a grounding gesture that can release calming chemicals in your brain. These little exercises anchor you in the here and now, teaching your body bit by bit that it can finally stand down. The third step is to start restoring your past. Now, this doesn't mean pretending that bad things didn't happen. Not at all. It means changing the meaning you've given them. For instance, and for years, maybe the story you told yourself is one of shame or brokenness or being a victim. To restory is to become the editor of your own life's movie. You can't change the raw footage of what happened, but you can choose which scenes to emphasize. You can add a new voiceover. Instead of focusing only on the pain, you can highlight the story of what you survived. What strength did it build in you that you didn't even know you had? That old wound might be the very thing that made you more compassionate, more resilient, or more empathetic towards others. Faith gives us a beautiful framework for this. It allows us to see our lives not as a series of random painful events, but as part of a much larger story. Your pain doesn't have to be the end of the story. It can be the source of your greatest wisdom. So start by asking a new question. Instead of, why did this happen to me? Try asking, what has this experience equipped me to do? Or, how can I use this to love others better? You can even ask, where was God in that moment, even though I couldn't see him? When you shift the question, you begin to shift the entire story. You stop being a passive victim of your own past and become the active author of your future. Forgiveness is probably one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of healing. We resist it because we think it means we're excusing what happened or letting the other person off the hook. But true forgiveness isn't about them at all. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. Holding on to bitterness, like letting the person who hurt you live in your head rent free while you pay all the emotional bills. Forgiveness is the act of evicting them. It's you deciding, I will no longer let the past event control my present peace. This is deep work, and it rarely happens overnight. It starts with just a tiny bit of willingness. A prayer as simple as, God, I want to be willing to forgive. Please help me, can be a monumental first step. Forgiveness releases the chronic anger and stress that keep your body's alarm system switched on. Spiritually, it aligns our hearts with the same grace we hope to receive. It's an acknowledgement that we are all imperfect people in need of mercy. You don't have to start with the biggest wound. Practice on the small stuff and feel the lightness that comes with it. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's remembering without all the pain. Finally, lean on your faith as the foundation that holds all of this healing work together. The psychological tools are powerful, but faith provides the ultimate why. Think of faith as the solid ground beneath your feet. The tools we've talked about are the steps you take, but without that solid ground, every step feels unstable. Faith gives us hope when we feel hopeless, strength when we feel weak, and a purpose that is so much bigger than our personal gain. Faith reminds us that we are more than our wounds, that we are loved unconditionally. It gives us a safe space to bring our anger, our grief, and our confusion without any judgment. Simple practices like prayer, reading scripture, or just spending time in nature connect us to something larger than ourselves. This is where true, lasting healing happens. When you're connected with your inner child, you see that child as beloved by God. When you're calming your body with your breath, you can see it is caring for the temple you've been given. When you're rewriting your story, you see God as the ultimate author, capable of bringing good from even the darkest chapters. Faith isn't a shortcut to avoid the hard work. It's the fuel for it. It gives you the courage to face the pain because you know you are not facing it alone. Healing old wounds isn't about erasing your scars. It's about learning to see them as a testament to your survival and a source of your strength. It is never too late to start this journey. The peace you've been longing for isn't a distant dream. It is a present possibility. By treating your younger self with compassion, learning to soothe your own body, rewriting the story of your pain, choosing the freedom of forgiveness, and grounding it all in your faith, you can turn your golden years into a time of incredible wholeness. You have carried this burden long enough. It's time to set it down. The journey of healing is personal, but we don't have to walk it alone. If this message spoke to you, maybe you'd consider sharing a piece of your own story or a word of hope in the comments. Your experience could be the one thing someone else needs to read today to take their own first step. And if you'd like more messages on finding peace and purpose in your golden years, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and be gentle with yourself.